The Envious Neighbour story in English at English Fairy Tales. In the tranquil village of Grey Monta, an old couple, Richard and Marie, resided. They were without children, but their lives were brightened by a charming little dog named Romeo. Romeo was deeply devoted to the couple, always by their side, and brought them immense joy. He's a little bundle of joy, isn't he? Marie would say, to which Richard would affirm yes, that he is. One day, as Richard tended to his garden, Romeo, as was his custom, stayed close by. Suddenly Romeo began snuffling and scratching at a particular spot a short distance away. Richard, curious, asked, "What is it, boy?" Romeo immediately ran back to his master, barking loudly, and then returned to the scratching spot. Puzzled, Richard picked up his spade and followed the dog. Romeo leaped around, barking so loudly that Marie also came outside. Drawn by the noise, Richard began to dig, and very soon his spade struck against something solid. "Oh my! Looks like we have found something," he exclaimed. He bent down and pulled out a large box. When he opened it, his jaw dropped, for the box was filled with shining gold pieces. Marie, equally astonished, ended if she was dreaming, but Richard assured her, "Don't know about you, but I definitely am not. This is real." He attributed their sudden fortune to their little boy Romeo, declaring, "Oh, we're rich." Romeo barked and jumped with joy. The box was so heavy that Marie had to assist in carrying it into their house. As days passed, Romeo enjoyed a life of luxury. He was given all the best foods a dog could desire, and his cushions were fit for a prince. He lived a beautiful life until one day their envious neighbor Rousseau discovered Richard and Marie's newfound wealth. Rousseau immediately concocted a plan to slyly capture Romeo, thinking, "I need this little dog anyhow," he decided. "Tonight, when the old couple sleeps, I will lure the fellow with cookies and capture him." Just as he had planned, Rousseau crept into the old couple's house. That night Richard and Marie were fast asleep, and little Romeo was playing with a ball when the door creaked open. Romeo looked up and spotted a delicious cookie lying by the door. He early jumped up and ran towards it, grabbing the cookie with his mouth and happily munching on it. However, unbeknownst to poor Romeo, the cookie contained a sleeping potion. As soon as he ate it, he collapsed onto the ground and passed out. "The dog is now mine," Rousseau said as he picked up little Romeo and disappeared into the darkness of the night. The next morning, when Richard and Marie awoke, they found Romeo missing from the house. They began to search for him, calling out, "Oh, Romeo, Romeo, where are you, boy? Where are you, my little bundle of joy?" But Romeo was nowhere to be found. As they ventured into the garden to continue their search, Rousseau from the other side of the fence called out, "What happened, neighbor? Why do you look so sad?" Richard explained, "Rousseau, we cannot find our little dog. Have you seen him?" Rousseau, feigning ignorance, replied, "Oh, I have not, but I am sure he must have run out of the house chasing a butterfly that I often see him play with him." He then added, "Oh, he must have not gone too far. Richard, let us go at once and get him." Richard agreed, "You are right, let's go and look for him." As Richard and Marie left to search, Rousseau seized the opportune moment. He quickly went inside his house and emerged with Romeo. "You little devil, you have troubled me all night," Rousseau muttered to Romeo. "Now be a little useful and help me locate some treasures in my garden." He put Romeo down but held on to the leash, warning him, "Don't you dare think about running away." Poor Romeo began sniffing the ground and soon stopped at a spot where he started to bark. "Good boy," Rousseau said. "I hope the treasure is more than that of Richard's." With that, he began to dig and soon found a big box. Delighted, he pulled it out and opened it, finding it filled with gold coins. "You little dog, you are special," he exclaimed. "I will let you go now." He removed the leash from Romeo's collar and placed him on the other side of the fence, instructing him, "Run inside, and your mum and dad shall be home soon." Romeo immediately ran inside the house. Rousseau took the box of gold, smiling, and went inside his own house. When Richard and Marie returned, sad and dejected, Romeo came out barking and ran towards them. "Oh, you are here, He is here. Where did you disappear, Romeo? We were so worried for you, Marie cried. She carried him in her arms, and the old couple happily went inside their house. Later that same day, Rousseau, driven by his greedy motives, went to the old couple's house again. I am glad you found your dog, he said. The guy looks a little shaken. Mind if I take him for a walk? Marie thought this would be wonderful, asking Romeo, Romeo, you want to go for a walk, boy? At this, Romeo came forward and, to Rousseau's utter surprise, spoke clearly. I am not going anywhere with this man. He is mean. Rousseau was shocked, taking a step back and staring at Richard. Richard, unaware of what Rousseau heard, asked, What is the matter, Rousseau? Why do you look horrified? Rousseau stammered, Your dog can do. Richard and Marie exchanged amused glances, because to them Romeo was mere lie barking. They could not hear him talk. What? Oh, what are you talking about? They asked. Your dog, this little devil, just spoke. Rousseau insisted. If by speaking you mean barking, then yes, he did. Richard replied, All the dogs do. Romeo barked, and Rousseau looked at him inquisitively. I swear I heard him speak. Rousseau insisted. Richard, thinking Rousseau was unwell, advised him, Go home, Rousseau. I think you are a little under the weather. Nap it out, and once you feel a little better, you can take Romeo out for a walk. Rousseau nodded, scratching his head, and went back home. The next morning Rousseau returned, saying, Greetings, Richard and Murray. Apologies for my behavior yesterday. Where is the little guy? Let me take him out for a walk. Richard was glad Rousseau felt better and called, Oh, sure, I am glad you are feeling better. Romeo, come here, boy. Romeo came running into the room and stopped near Richard and again spoke, Oh, this cruel man, not again. At this, Rousseau's jaw dropped. Richard and Marie once more were confused as they on. I heard Romeo bark. What happened, Rousseau? What happened? They asked. Rousseau exclaimed, Your dog. Your dog just spoke again. Richard and Marie looked at each other confused as Romeo barked. Rousseau, my neighbor, I think you need to go see a doctor, Richard suggested. How would an animal speak? Rousseau was adamant. He just spoke. You guys are in this together. This is a magical dog. I know it is responsible for all your fortune, and now I know that it can speak too. Where did you get this magical dog from? I want to know. Richard tried to explain. Rousseau, he is just a little dog, not a magical creature, and yes, he did help us find the treasure, but that was just plain luck. He has never done it again. The entire village knows, Rousseau retorted. Oh, that's where you are wrong. Oh, what do you mean? I will show you, but not when I am alone. I will bring the village head and expose you in front of him. The entire village will know that you are evil magicians practicing witchery in this village, and I shall have this magica dog for myself. I will be back. As he walked out of their house, Richard and Marie looked at each other in shock, believing their neighbor was losing his mind. Later that day, Rousseau returned to their house accompanied by the village head, Mr. Shiro, who stood on their veranda. Rousseau shouted loudly, Come out, you evil magicians, and bring that evil dog too. I am here to expose you in front of Mr. Shiro. His shouting was so loud that a few other villagers also gathered around as Richard and Marie emerged from their house. Rousseau pointed there. They are the evil magicians. They are practicing witchery in our village, sire. You must throw them out of here at once. Richard attempted to reason. Mr. Shiro, I think Rousseau is losing his mind. We should take him to a doctor. Enough of your ex. I am going to expose you, Rousseau declared. Mr. Shiro, however, was not easily swayed, stating, Rousseau, you better have good proof of what you're claiming. I have known Richard and Marie for years, and they are the most decent people in our entire village. Rousseau insisted. The decency is just them putting up an axe fire, and yes, I have solid proof. Turning to Romeo, he commanded, Say something now, I dare you. Romeo simply barked, See, there you go. Do I need to prove anything else? Rousseau challenged. Mr. Shiro looked at him confused, and the villagers also exchanged puzzled glances. What are you talking about, Rousseau? Mr. Shiro asked the dog. I am talking about the talking dog. You heard him speak just now, didn't you? Rousseau pressed. I only heard him bark, Mr. Shiro replied. What? How is that possible? Rousseau cried, furious. He turned towards the villagers. You all heard him speak, right? I only heard him bark, one said, and another echoed, yes, me too. I think Richard is right. Rousseau has lost his mind. No, I have not. Rousseau protested, then claimed this dog here helped them find a treasure. It is a magical dog. We all know about it. Richard clarified, but that was merely a coincidence in a dog's powerful sense of smell. Oh, is that so? Rousseau said sarcastically. He then proceeded to explain how he had captured Romeo and made him find a box full of gold in his own garden. What? You kidnapped my boy. It was you. That is unacceptable, Rousseau. I will have you thrown out of the village. Richard exclaimed, outraged. Oh, not just yet, Mr. Village head. Rousseau interjected. See, the point is not that I kidnapped the little devil, but in helping me find another piece of treasure. You see, the dog is a magical being. It can find unlimited treasures. Prove it. Show us the box full of gold. Mr. Shiro demanded. Oh yes, I will, Rousseau confidently replied. He placed his bag down and removed the box he had found in his garden. Watch closely, everyone, for I am about to reveal a box full of gold coins, he announced. He opened the box and to the horror of his life found that it was only filled with sand. What? This is impossible. Rousseau cried. Mr. Shiro was furious, declaring, enough. Not only have you wasted all our time, you have also put Richard and Marie's reputation into jeopardy, and on top of that you kidnapped their little dog. I hereby declare that you are banned from Grey Monta and shall never set foot in this village. Rousseau tried to protest, but not a word more from your mouth. Mr. Shiro commanded, pack your bags and leave now, else I will be forced to call the village guards. With his head hanging low, Rousseau walked away. Mr. Shiro then approached Richard and Marie, saying, I am sorry for this inappropriate behavior, but don't worry anymore, for Rousseau will never trouble you or anyone in this village ever again. I will make sure that he has sent far, far away. Richard and Marie thanked him, stating, thank you, Mr. Shiro. Your leadership is what keeps us all very safe. Mr. Shiro smiled and stooped down to pat Romeo on his head, remarking, such an adorable dog. How on earth can anyone think it knows wizardry? Rousseau was indeed sent out of the village, and Romeo lived happily with Richard and Marie, ensuring that no harm ever came their way. As for the old couple, they would never truly know that their dog was special. This story presents a fascinating exploration of human nature, particularly the destructive power of envy and greed. Rousseau, the envious neighbor, cannot bear to see Richard and Marie's fortune, which was found by their loyal dog Romeo. His initial envy quickly transforms into a greedy desire to possess the source of their wealth, leading him to believe Romeo is a magical dog capable of finding unlimited treasures. This belief system, born of his covetousness, completely blinds him to reality. Rousseau's delusion and misinterpretation are central to the unfolding drama. He genuinely believes Romeo can speak even when no one else can hear it. This consistent misperception, coupled with his self-serving desire for wealth, pushes him to make increasingly outrageous claims. He is so convinced of Romeo's magical abilities that he is willing to publicly accuse his neighbors of witchery and evil magician practices, even involving the respected village head. His desperate attempts to prove Romeo's magic, first by commanding him to speak, which results in a mere bark, and then by revealing the treasure box, which turns out to be full of sand, highlight the complete disconnect between his perception and reality. The transformation of the gold coins he found into sand at the moment of public display serves as a potent symbol of his ill-gotten gains turning to nothing, a form of karmic justice. In stark contrast to Rousseau's malevolence is Romeo's unwavering loyalty and inherent goodness. From the very beginning, Romeo is depicted as a bundle of joy who is very fond of the old couple and never left their side even after being kidnapped and forced to find treasure. For RUSSO, his instinct is to return to his beloved owners. His attempts to speak and warn Richard and Marie about Rousseau, though only understood by Rousseau, demonstrate his protective nature and intelligent awareness. The irony here is profound. Romeo is indeed special and possesses abilities beyond a normal dog. But his true magic lies not in finding gold for greedy people, but in his devotion and in the mysterious way he orchestrates events, like the sand transformation, to protect his family. Richard and Marie, living simple, contented lives, remain blissfully unaware of their dog's extraordinary nature, content with the plain luck he brought them. This underscores a theme of innocence and contentment as a virtue in opposition to Rousseau's grasping materialism. Finally, the story highlights the importance of community, reason, and justice. The villagers, including Mr. Shiro, do not succumb to Rousseau's wild accusations or delusions. They rely on their common sense and their long-standing knowledge of Richard and Marie's character. Mr. Shiro acts as a beacon of fairness, demanding proof from Rousseau and ultimately banishing him not just for his false claims but for his unacceptable act of kidnapping and his disruption of the village's peace. Rousseau's banishment from Grey Monta signifies the triumph of truth and order over deceit and chaos, reinforcing the idea that malicious actions and baseless accusations have severe consequences.